Hello and welcome to a episode of the Euro vlog for November 2022. Small disclaimer, this video may well contain triggers as we do talk about suicide, anxiety, depression, as well as things like substance abuse and a range of mental health difficulties that people face every day. So please, if you do go into this, do just be aware and make sure you look after yourself before and after, especially if that means talking to someone else and getting their support. Now, onto the vlog. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of You're Alright, the Movember vlog of 2022. I'm joined today by Toby and Brof from the Robbins Cancer Trust charity, and we're going to talk about what they do, really. So straight over to you, Toby.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Thanks for Brophers being here as well.
Our pleasure always, mate.
So where do I start? The Robbins Cancer Trust, we've been going 10 years now. This is our 10th anniversary year. Last month, by the time this goes out. And we were set up because I lost my brother to a rare form of testicular cancer when he was 24. I was 22. He was my the middle child out of three. He was very fit, healthy, active, very health conscious, but missed some massive signs and symptoms and had a rare tumor in his chest that was a testicular tumor. By the time they found it, it was stage 4. Went through a lot of grueling chemo, a lot of aggressive treatment, really, impossible year to even try and imagine at that age. And then we had the news that there was nothing more that they could do. And, I've really shortened a big story there, but people can look up more about it on our website. But after the fact, when we were sitting around, we thought, well, if someone is health conscious and healthy and aware of their body as my brother can miss the signs and symptoms, then we need to go out and educate young men and women, because of the type of cancer, germ cell cancers affect both testicular and ovarian, about this form of cancer. So we thought Macmillan do amazing support, cancer research and others do fantastic research in that area, but what was missing was hands-on, out in the community, really just trying to raise awareness, reduce the stigma, and get people checking themselves regularly. So that's what we did. And, as these things do, you start off with a good intention and some friends around you, and you set up a fundraiser and you do a little music event in a bar, and it's sort of snowballs and snowballs. And before you know it, a lot of people are supporting you and you're doing bigger and better things. And Brophy's an amazing testament to this. I'll let him speak to his story of why he got involved with the trust. And we've grown over the years from a very hyper-local Essex-based charity to now a sort of national UK-wide charity with a digital reach that sort of extends all across the UK. And we go out to schools, colleges, universities, businesses, and do hands-on talks. So we do like lunch and learns, webinars, workshops, or just assemblies in schools, reach as many people as we can. We have these giant testicles you put over your head and you pull the head teacher up, or the jockey PE teacher up to check their balls on stage and in front of everyone. And our big thing is humor helps to break down that initial barrier. So we always go big, silly, in your face, really attention grabbing. If you can make someone laugh, then you've broken the ice, and then you can have a serious conversation later down the line. So it's all about breaking down that barrier with young people so that you can get the life-saving, really important messages in after the fact. So we do a lot online. Obviously, it's hard to get attention in the scroll nowadays, but we do our best. Attend lots of community events, big festivals, Reading, Latitude, V Festival, going back a few years now, show my age. And just getting out there and trying to reach as many people. Our big remit is awareness for all, so everyone in the UK we want to reach with our life-saving message. And really just teaching these life skills. We have the power to check ourselves as guys, so it's all about breaking down the stigma, breaking down the embarrassment, making sure we're talking about it. Peer-to-peer talk is the best way. Positive peer pressure is the best way to get guys to go over to the doctors, whether that's through friends, whether that's through partners, or even parents and guardians talking about it openly and honestly. And then that's how we know we're going to save lives. It's an incredible thing seeing the stats on what people knew before they've been to our talks and what they know after, and how comfortable they are going to the doctors. And you can see that positive like behavior change that we're having then, a real-time effect, just by getting out in front of people and having a talk. So that's what we're all about: cancer awareness, education, and empowerment for young people.
What are you, Brof?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, saying like, it's weird to think the charity's been going 10 years, because I mean, I've been part of it with you for 9 now. I think he was saying about early days and the sort of a local bar with music going on was where I kind of stumbled across it on the top floor, a little stall up, and the words "talking bollocks," which instantly grabbed my attention. I'm like, this is what I do generally. Like, I'm great. But yeah, I had a chat with everyone there, and just there's so much going on about to do with research now, but you never hear anyone talking about awareness. And that was huge, because as men, we just don't like talking about that sort of thing because we're men, and these things don't matter. But just as Toby said, like the whole comical aspect and the fact that it's, the brand is hashtag talking bollocks on the testicular side, it instantly breaks down any wall of people being worried about talking about it. And it hooked me from there. And it's been an interesting 9 years, but we've done a few festivals together. We've done Pride. We've stood at the uni locally and handed out bits and teaching and educating like everyone just on how to check yourself. It's not something I ever considered doing. I never thought about it. The testicular cancer wasn't on my brain until I met Toby. And now I'm
ball guy.
Yeah. And now I get a text every month reminding me to do it. So it's good. But like along with that, it's kind of, I think the whole charity just educates men generally that as much as it's talking about testicular cancer, it's always that thing of it's okay to talk. Like we can also have that other level where we can just have a chin wag and just talk about anything. Like I've become best friends with Toby since then. I talk to him about all my personal problems with mental health and stuff. But he's just got that thing about him. He just draws people in. Like I've never seen people like so drawn in on a small stage of people just focused on what he has to say, and it's good information. It's fun information. And you see it quickly getting spread around. It comes from him, and then people talk about it to their friends. And we did obviously got the cards. I mean, the best thing that ever came, I think, is those massive pair of testicles. As you said, like any store, people instantly walk over and like, "Can I wear these?" Yeah, let's have a chat. And it's that instant breakdown. You said you make them laugh. The next thing you know, you've got their attention fully.
Yeah, I think my favorite part is when you're at an event, like a major festival or something, and you get the biggest group of lads walk past, and you've got the big bollocks around your head, and they're like, "Oh, you're a dickhead." And you're like, "Yes, I am. But do you know why I'm a dickhead today?" And they're like, "No." And you're like, "Does anyone know how to check their balls?" And they're like, What? They've gone from bit of banter to, hang on, this guy's going to educate me on something that could save my life. And then at the end, you're handing out all the stickers and the cards and everything. You're like, "Oh, cheers, mate. That was awesome. Love it." And they potter off and go and do whatever they're going to do. But you're like, it's just that massive swing from silly banter straight over to, "Oh, we're having that was really cool. Actually, I wasn't expecting that. I just thought it was a weirdo at a festival."
Yeah. But
Okay.
I mean, even like the stickers and everything, like it's all got the same message, but there's so many, like even like you've got the "I love my balls," like it's silly humor, but everyone sees them when they're walking around suddenly, and then everyone asks where that came from, and then people come over because they want to know more, and it has that like really nice effect that just trickles down from, as you said, like lads who would just be like taking the mick generally and not wanting to talk about anything other than the beers.
Yeah, and I think how cool is it? So we did Pride recently, our local Pride event, and the one thing that gets me every time, and this is what you were saying, bro, is the catalyst effect of being open just about one thing, and then everyone starts opening up about all the other things. And the amount of people that come up and tell you their story, how they've been affected by cancer, not necessarily testicular, but they're like, "Wow, you're standing here and you're so open in that moment, aren't you? When you've got the big bollocks on, like it's funny, it's like you can have that banner, but actually you're really exposed because you're not usually that societally, you're embarrassing yourself quite a lot in that moment. You've got giant testicles all over you or whatever, and you're holding a giant pair of rubber bollocks or something." Like we're okay with it, but like society tells you that should be quite embarrassing. So like, but people bring their guard right down. They're like, "Oh man, this is awesome. Like I lost my nan, or I had a friend," and you just get into these really in-depth, super important, serious conversations with people. Just like there's none of that small talky bit. You just go straight into the really deep stuff. And I think they're the most powerful moments for me when we're out at events. I just sit there and I'm like, "That's so cool. That person's just you wouldn't just go up to someone at the bar and be like, I lost my nan, it was really tough. Like, she had cancer and we cared for her, and you know, we had to live with her, and it was horrible, palliative care. And you hear this whole thing that someone would not normally come up and tell you that.
But even with that, you see their relief as well. Not relief, but the unburdening of being able to actually just have that conversation, and in public as well. Like, it's not even like, as you said, you're around someone's house and they've just unloaded it on you. Like, they're publicly talking about something that's like gonna hurt emotionally always. It's phenomenal kind of feeling. Like, it's weird.
I have to admit, I love being a safe space, but my favorite being a safe space story for people is when I was out with some friends one evening. We were at the pub and I went to do a wee, and I was at the urinal taking a wee, and my mate pulls up next to me. I was like, that's close for starters. I mean, everyone knows the rule. And he was like, Toby, can I ask you something? I'm like, I'm mid-flow here. Yes, buddy. What's wrong? He's like, I'm having some issues. Like, I'm having a bit of issues down there, and like some blood came out and stuff. And do you think I should go to the doctor? I'm like, yes, very much so. Yes, blood in that area, definitely go to your doctors. But I'm like, there's safe space, and then there's I need a bit of personal space, and then maybe we could talk about this. But it's nice to be the guy that people come to with, you know, issues. And you're right, bro. If they do, once you talk about one thing, everyone feels comfortable to talk to you about other things. And I think that keeps growing, because people will come to you, bro, I'm sure now, with issues because they know you talk about it, which is the knock-on secondary, tertiary effect of it all. And I suppose that's what this is all about, isn't it? Keeping that growing and going so that eventually it's just the norm, which would be fantastic.
There's been some mental limits. I mean, we started up a running club for a while. You know, you've obviously taken over doing the half marathon at Colchester, sort of around here now. You sent some balls into space.
Did you're hyping this up much better than I am?
No, but it's like you
did a 24-hour gaming session. I used to go home.
We did too. Yeah,
I used to go home and come back.
It's that a lot of the volunteers you pull in are people who either know Toby or have that kind of experience through him, that are kind of like instantly want to get on this and want to be part of it. And it's that energy that keeps flowing. Like, you'll never see a volunteer at the Robin Cancer Trust who looks bored or like not wanting to be there or feeling like they've been forced to like volunteer for an event. Everyone, the energy levels are always just next level. Everyone's having a laugh. Everyone's just taking the mick. Like, even those rubber balls sometimes just get covered in glitter. And it's weird, such a horrible thing to talk about, cancer that's killing people, be such a positive outreach. I don't know. I still find that weird that we're like having such a laugh, but at the same time we're like, this could kill you. You know, you need to check this. You need to make sure you're doing this. But also, you know, bollocks.
Yeah, and that's the light of shade in it. There's light and shade in everything, isn't there? And I think the cancer community themselves have an incredibly dark sense of humor. My brother had a very dark sense of humor. Like, I think it's really important to be able to make light of all situations. And I think, you know, that we know the seriousness. We're not jovial because we don't know it. It's not like we're just going into it going, haha, bull silliness. We're like, well, we know the outcome if we're not silly about this and don't get your attention. So, you know, you get a bit of kickback on social every now and then from someone that I think maybe doesn't understand why we're doing what we're doing. But you're like, no, I very much know the dark side of this. So I'm happy to live in the light side of this, because, you know, if we can stop it happening, that's all that matters. But yeah, it's incredible. And it's amazing to see now how the charity's grown from family to family and friends to family and friends of friends to just like, there's people involved that you just.
But I think that's the other thing as well. It's not
like
you say family, but it does always feel like family. Like, your family took me in massively with all this, and it was just out. Like, your mum and dad are awesome. Like, you know, we ended up having like, do you remember like the packing parties we used to do, where we used to do like the freshers fairs? Yeah, we used to just go around his house and just like pack all these bags, like 20 of us. It'd just be like a spread out. We'd all be just like having a laugh, packing these bags. But it's all that everyone's just putting like this time of something they really care about.
Mum would cook chili for like a week, wouldn't she? Their entire conservatory was like head to floor in about, I don't know, God, 40,000 freshers fairs. It was,
2 seconds.
But yeah, we've always tried to keep that sort of family feel, because like our inspiration, our catalyst is Rob. That thing, that, you know, very, very poignant story,
Mhm.
but we're acutely aware we've grown bigger than Rob. Like Rob's the namesake, Rob's the inspiration, but it's all about the other people that are involved, all the people that we can save, the community across the UK that we interact with, all the survivors we talk to, and that's amazing to have seen that sort of grow from a little seedling into this mighty oak of a sort of charity.
You're also doing the new packs as well, aren't you now?
Sorry, brain.
Sorry, dude. Yeah,
brain fart. What am I doing now?
You've got the new packs you give out for people going through treatment and stuff and sort of
Yes,
areas.
that is very cool. You are really good at being a hype man. Yes, Thriver packs. These are very cool. So we send out cancer care packages to newly diagnosed individuals anywhere in the UK, which is a really nice thing to be able to do. Sort of came off the back of the isolation and the mental health issues people were facing that were even more heightened because of the pandemic, and obviously that's still still a major threat to anyone who's immunocompromised. So we send out these cancer care packages that have been curated by our survivors to just help people go through treatment, any sort of post-treatment through chemo, post-surgery effects. And we always try and brand things. We always say we're for everyone. Like our branding's not for everyone. It really doesn't resonate with everyone. Some people are like, you shouldn't be swearing. We're like, not sure bollocks is a swear word. It's fine. It's like number 7 on the naughty list, isn't it? I think there's some 4-letter words that are much worse. So we're like, but we work with partners all across the UK. We're part of a network of individual charities. So if we're not right for someone, we're like, look at these amazing charities that are maybe not quite as out there as we are, but they're doing fantastic work and will help you. So we always try and cater for maybe a younger audience, but that can resonate with anyone. Age is but a mindset, right? If you like big giant bollocks, a bit of swearing and some good branding, then we're probably for you.
Especially the stickers. Whenever you we offer that to kids, the one they always go for is the
you go to the parents and you're like, because some events are mixed, they're like pride events, you get all ages, but it's right in our demographic. So you get the parents with like the toddlers, they come up and you're like, we're gonna let you choose. They're like, take the bollocks, Timmy. Okay, as long as the parents making that choice, not us. And temporary tattoos, we do temporary tattoos. They go down really well at festivals. But so there's a lot of stuff out in the community. A lot of the online stuff is really silly big campaigns. Spaceballs, sorry, different charities campaign. Spaceballs, we sent a pair of testicles into space to launch Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. We put the most giant pair of bollocks ever created on a billboard in Manchester. Was that this year or last year? It all blurs into one. This year, I think you're right. And then by the time this goes live, we should have broken the world record for the most testicular self-exams on International Men's Day in November. So
heck yeah,
should be. I'll be egg on my face if I'm not a record holder by the time this goes live.
Make it happen. Make it happen. I was going to say as well, it's interesting you said about demographics as well, because it's kind of where I decided to step in on a different part and bring in the streamers versus cancer, which is, as much as it's broad against cancer, that is something we started to do through the Robin Cancer Trust. Because originally we done a couple of 24-hour events called the Genital Games. It was a good vibe, but it's finding ways to hit a demographic that aren't always, say, out in town or coming to festivals. And being the enclosed introvert I am who streams, I thought, hey, hold on, there's people that watch me who are at the right age and the right area for this. Why are we not utilizing? And it's early days yet. We've obviously me and Toby been talking a lot recently and getting things set up, but the whole idea is we basically take that message and we put it out there for everyone on all platforms. We're basically just building an army of streamers who are happy to share this message. We'll do fundraisers. We've got information packs people can download. It's all basically anything you'd find out and about, we're bringing to you virtually through the streaming platforms. And it's it's proper early doors yet, but I'm hyped for it. It's going to be a lot coming for it.
That's really cool. When you're out and about, out of curiosity, do you find that young people are as receptive as older people to kind of like the message?
Yes, I think it's a different age comes with experience, right? So, there's way more touch points for cancer throughout your life once you get to a certain age. With what we're doing, yes, certainly, just in different ways. So older people can actually be reasonably dismissive of it because they think I'm too old for it, which isn't the case. You get it at any age, it drops off and prostate cancer becomes more of a risk. But so you don't get dismissive, but they're sort of comfortable talking about it, if that makes sense. But perhaps just sort of like, yeah, I'm past those days. But the younger generation, generally, they're really good. It's a difficult one. There's certain areas that are harder. So like university fresh fairs are slightly more difficult with guys because new environment, new you, just at home, you want to make a good impression. You can see young guys move in packs, and there's always alpha at the front. They're following around. If alpha doesn't go for you, you really have to work hard to get that first one, and then the rest of them all fall like dominoes. So sometimes there's a bit more embarrassment, but you just sort of oversell it and overdo it, and you have a good hook to get them over to get some freebie or do something silly.
Mate, do you guys want some free stickers is always a win. That pulls people in so quickly.
It doesn't need to be complicated. So guys are generally receptive to it. It's just finding them in the right moments, I think, and that's why it's such a wide spread of getting them, online, repeating that message, getting out in the community, and then having loads of different offerings. We always said, again, Brophers testament is put on events and do things that people want to engage with anyway. And then they're like, oh, this is cool. Wait, there's a charity element to it. The amount of people that used to come to our like music gigs and just think we were a brand or something, or some sort of promotional like entity. And we were like, no, we're fundraising for charity. And you take it for granted that you know that, but they're like, I just wanted to see some good bands and have a good time with my friends, and now I'm learning about testicular cancer. And you're like, oh, fine, right, yeah.
I've also got this sick new merch.
Yeah, exactly. Or great t-shirt. So we do try, and sometimes it's in your face, sometimes it's subtle. We have sort of the streamers versus cancer. We have the running club. Obviously, that's got different health benefits to it, but the campaigns aren't really that in the face. They're more just sort of like, we're a community of runners. We've got a thing called Merch Against Cancer, which is like a trading arm of really cool just merchandise for either people who want to support the cancer community or are going through cancer themselves. So that's sort of more subtle, different ways that people want to just engage with things that look great and a brand that they might engage with, and then go, oh, there's a charity element to this too, which is really, really nice. So yeah, it's just sort of going, how do we appeal to everyone? Because everyone deserves and needs to see our message.
If you were to say, only because, I am hesitant to keeping people forever in these things. If you were to kind of round off, what would and I hate the word closing message, because conversations like these are never closed and they don't end, and they should never end. And I can never think of a better word to use apart from closing message. If there was a last thing that you'd want people to kind of take with them as they go away from this and go back into their normal days, what would it be?
Everybody's got testicles. It's the age-old everybody poops, right? We're all weird and embarrassed by our bodies, but like if you fell over and bonked your elbow, you just go, ow, I fell over and bonked my elbow. But if you're walking around with a swollen testicle and it's hard to sit down and, you can't move around your daily life because one of your bollocks is too big, you should probably just go to a doctor or tell them, mate. Like, we just need to sort of get over that hurdle and realize that once you start talking about it, everyone's going to start talking about it. So yeah, I wouldn't say everyone's got bollocks. Obviously half the population definitely don't, but don't be afraid to be the first person, because I've never found in a situation when you open up about something to someone, especially in a one-on-one situation, where they don't react in a positive way. So maybe I've just been very lucky in that regard, but yeah, everybody's got balls. Check them monthly. Go to your doctor if anything's wrong. Have I missed anything, Brophy?
No, I think you can say it's not even just that everyone's got balls. It's like everybody knows someone who's got balls.
Even better.
Because it's part of the thing. It's like, even when you like have approached like females, it's always been check your fella or check your mate, or like, you know, it's that kind of, it doesn't matter if you've got them or not, you can still be a part of it by, you know, just raising it, because you got to know someone who's got balls. I was gonna say I used to go for the one, like, you know, we've spent our growing up being told not to touch it, but you know, if we're in the shower, it's the best place to be touching it.
I think I would agree more about the shower thing. I think ever since my personal experience with testicular cancer, ever since then, I think it's probably like, so several times a week, it's, you know, cheeky fondle in the shower, but could well save my life later down the line.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. So, you know, just to, I think, should we just throw out the signs and symptoms and how to check so everyone knows what they're doing as well? Just
bet you're good at Tobes.
I don't have my balls with me.
I know.
Hang on. Hang on. Here's a pair I may have. Oh, are they in here? I might have a pair in here. This is either going to be worth it or totally not worth it on the video. Hang on. Hello. Right. There we go. So just in my laptop bag, as you do. So let's hold them. Oh, is it going to blur them out? There we go.
No, you're good. You're good. Oh, a little bit.
Oh, where are they going? Right. I'll hold them near to me.
I think it needs to be in front of your jumper. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, hot bath or shower. We advocate once a month because it's like when you're putting on weight, you might not necessarily notice any sudden changes. And that's what you're going for. You want to check anything subtle and different. Your balls are like a temperature gauge. They don't hang this low. If your balls are this low, you're probably 96. But if your balls are like a temperature gauge, so when it's nice and hot, they all hang a bit loosey-goosey. It's easier to check. So hot bath or shower. Fingers and thumbs, just have a feel round. It's perfectly normal for one to be a bit lower than the other. Usually in most guys, lefty's a bit lower than righty. What you're checking for is anything not normal for you, anything that's in one and not the other, and wasn't there last time you checked, certainly needs looking into. The main signs and symptoms are pain, swelling, so anything swelling up massively, hardness, there should be a little bit of bounce there, but you don't want to squeeze them, but they shouldn't be rock hard like a pebble. What we got? Hardness, heaviness, so a dragging sensation when you're walking, and obviously a lump. A lump the size of a pea can come up in about 2 months, 1 month, 2 months, and you'll certainly notice that. You want to check for your epididymis, that's your sperm cord. That's where sperm goes from point A to whatever you're pointing it at. That's your prerogative. But that can be a little tender when you're checking it. So just have a feel, about 30 seconds on each testicle. That's all it takes. And doing that once a month and going straight to your doctor if anything's wrong could save your life. Talking bollocks saves lives. There we go. Got the tagline in as well.
Came full circle.
Thank you both so much for coming and doing this. I really appreciate it. It's such an important part of our lives that I feel like the message isn't out there. And it's brilliant to know that there are people like you both, people like all your volunteers within the charity and anyone that works with you, all your partners that are getting this message out there. So thank you both very much for coming and doing this.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And to everyone else that's watching, thank you guys for watching, really. I hope it's been informative, and you now need to go and find every bloke you know and tell them to go and touch themselves to save their life and go and talk some bollocks. After that, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow for another one of these. Have a splendid day, and I will see you later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching that You're Alright blog. It's been a phenomenal journey that we've been on to get this far, and we're hoping that it will long outlive the vlog series. But it's not over there. There is more to be done, and there is a donation link to the Movember charity inside the description. If you can donate, please do consider it, or even if you can just spread that link far and wide, get as many people to donate as possible, that's also fantastic. We are actively making a change, and you're part of that. So thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.